Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Reddit Repairs. This is episode 5, and this is the series where we go through Reddit looking at questions that people have on their PC builds and giving tips and solutions, possibly, to their problems. Let's see if we can find our first user who's having an issue. Here we have a user who's recently built a PC and most of their games are sitting at 100 FPS. He's let us know that he's got a 1080p monitor at 100 Hz. Most likely here, you might have VSync on in the settings. VSync will tie your game's FPS to the refresh rate of your monitor to stop screen tearing. Just disable VSync, that should get rid of your problem. If you're still locked at 100 FPS on all your games, you can disable VSync across the board for all games using the NVIDIA control panel. I'll quickly show you how to do that now. So open up your NVIDIA control panel. You can do this by right clicking the desktop and selecting control panel, NVIDIA control panel. Head over to manage 3D settings, scroll all the way down to the bottom, and there's an option here, vertical sync. It says use the 3D application settings. So normally within the game turning VSync off should fix this, but if not, just set this to off and then click apply. That should stop VSync from being on and hopefully uncap your FPS in all your games. Here we have a user who, after doing a Windows 10 update, they can no longer play any Source or BM vanilla based games. So Half-Life 2, Black Mesa. I'd like to know how he confirmed it's just these. I'm wondering if these are the only games he's playing currently or if he's tested other games that aren't on this engine. But to rule out that it is the Windows update, there is a feature in Windows to roll back the latest Windows update. I will go through settings now and quickly show you how to do that. So what you want to do is open up the settings. You'll be greeted with this screen as long as you're on Windows 10. Windows 11 should be roughly the same anyway. Head over to Update and Security. I've had a quick look online, so if you're on Windows 11, or double check this tab first, under the recovery option, you may have the option to roll back last update. Try that first. I don't have this option here. Not sure why. I'm not sure if it's a Windows 11 thing. I think I've seen that option before, but there should be the option to roll back update here, so try that first. If not, head to Windows Update, then click View Update History. Here you can see all the updates that you've recently done, and then you can go to uninstall updates up the top here. So open another tab, so open it on my screen, I'll put it over, and then here you can uninstall the updates. I've just seen there's a recovery option up here too. Clicking that takes me to the same page, so you might see an option to uninstall the latest Windows update. We'll give that a go and then see if it fixes your problem, and then to get around this I would just wait for another update, Windows update that's past the one that you've just done. This is a bit of a tricky one. You can always try and just reinstall the Windows update just in case it didn't install properly, but that's how you undo a Windows update. Here we have a user who has a PC that's making a kind of clicking noise. I'll just play the video so you can hear it. So looking at the comments, he seems to have already figured out that it's the fan on the back, but I just want to go over ways that you can figure this out for yourself. If you ever have a weird noise coming from your PC, feel free to take the side panel off while the PC's on, and just once the noise starts, just gently put your finger against the fan just to stop it. Obviously doing this too much will cause problems, but doing it once every now and then won't hurt it. And just do that on all the fans until the noise stops, and then you know which fan is causing the problem. Now if the noise carries on while you stop each fan, then you know it's not a problem with one of the fans. Then once you figured out which fan is causing the problem, you can then either look for something that's snagging on the fan, like a cable, or it could possibly be the bearing within the fan that's gone and you may just need to replace the fan. That's kind of how you can tell different noises from when a noise is coming from. It's normally always the fan. I've had a problem once, and I will admit I was very stupid. My computer would just ramp up while I was playing games, only certain games, and it really annoyed me because I like it when my computer's slightly quiet. I went through changing motherboards just in case my motherboard wasn't telling the fans to ramp up at the right time. I changed the fans just in case it was one of the fans being too loud, the RPM was too high. And then in the end, one day, I literally just put my PC on my desk because I've got it next to me on the floor, and I loaded up the game that I know made the sound, and I put my ear to the PC. I did the finger check. I'd already done that previously, but I did the finger check. Couldn't figure out what fan was doing it, so I knew it wasn't a fan, and it ended up being the power supply the whole time. So when the power supply would get hot, the fan would ramp up, and it would be very, very loud fan. I can't believe I didn't figure that out earlier, but hey, you learn things, and hopefully me making these videos can kind of give some people some guidance. And watching videos like this, I mean, I love to watch content where people fix PCs. You pick up so many things, and you'll be, well, when you look at fixing your own PC, you remember all these videos and what to check, and you end up actually learning quite a lot and being able to fix PCs quite quickly. Yeah, back to this post. That's what I do with the fans to check what's making the noise, and it looks like he's done that. So this one's going to be more of a tip other than a fix. This person is basically asking will the parts he's looking to upgrade to work together. I am going to leave a link to a website in the description called PC Part Picker. This website is amazing for testing components together. It will tell you all sorts. I'll quickly pop to the website now just to show you what I mean. So once you go to PC Part Picker, you can then click PC Builder up here and literally fill out all of this video card, all sorts, and it will give you all the information and tell you if something's not compatible, or I believe it even tells you if a component won't fit in the case, or if the RAM won't be compatible with the cooler that you're choosing, in the sense of the RAM's too high and the cooler won't fit. It's a really, really solid website. I've used this countless of times to build PCs for people because it also gives you a rough price. Definitely give this a go. So this is a bit of a tricky one. This user has gone into regedit and changed some of the file subsystems and gave them the read permission. What I can imagine is going on here, well, he said after he's done this, nothing's opening on his PC. What I can imagine he's done here is he set all of the Windows file permissions to read only, so Windows can't write anything to any of the files, and it's getting stuck. This is a very tricky one because the easiest way to fix this would be just to restart the PC, but he can't do this. I can see that he can get in command prompt, which is good because we could try and get through some bits, but what I want to say first is see if you can boot your PC into safe mode. The best way to boot a PC into safe mode, pressing shift and then clicking restart, but you can't get to the Windows home menu. So what you can try and do, a way to do this would be to lock the PC, Windows L, and see if you can get the restart button from there. I can't really think of another way. You could try Control Alt Delete. There's also a restart button there, or power button there, that you can press shift restart to get into safe mode. See if then that allows you to click things, go back into regedit and undo what you did. Another option that I found is if you can't click anything but you can get into command prompt, you can try and open regedit by doing the following: opening command prompt, and then in the command prompt type regedit and press enter, possibly maybe regedit.exe, and then press enter. That might get it to open for you. Or without typing in cmd, just try and do Windows R and then just type regedit from there and see if it opens. As you can see at the top, I've done a quick Google search just how to change Reddit default using cmd. You can do your own research on that because I couldn't find anything definitive on how to do this, but there does possibly seem to be a way that you can change permissions from read to administrator access or write using cmd. There were some people talking about installing Microsoft software, but if you can't click on Google Chrome or you can't click anything, there's nothing you can install. So I don't know if you can changing the permissions on the files through command prompt. But as I said, do a little bit of research, see if there's a way to change file permissions in regedit through command prompt or PowerShell. You should be able to get to PowerShell as well. It's basically command prompt, but with more options and a bit more kind of, I wouldn't say user friendly, but it's just slightly better than command prompt. Give that a go. If not, your option would be, because I can see in your post that you said that you've got important files so you can't reinstall. What you can do is, if you've got a secondary PC or a laptop, you can buy a external hard drive reader or external SSD reader, external NVMe drive reader, and you can hook that up to your laptop. Obviously take the hard drive, NVMe, SSD out of your PC and then read the files there and take anything off of the drive that you need to keep, store that on the laptop, reinstall Windows, and then keep that on the laptop, then reinstall Windows on your PC and move everything back. That way you've reinstalled Windows, and this should definitely fix the problem. But this is definitely a tricky one. regedit is pretty much changing core system files a lot of the time. I'd normally say to anyone who's messing with regedit is always create a copy of your regedit. I'll quickly show you how to do that now. So at the top here you can click File and then Export, and this will export all of the changes that you've made and save it to a file. And then if you ever end up making a change that has really screwed something up, you can always try and open Registry Editor again, click File, Import, and import that file, and it'll put everything back to how it was. But yeah, hopefully this has given you some guidance on how to fix this, but this is definitely a bit of a tricky one. Here a user can't get his RAM to run at the speeds that it's rated for. This one is something I can relate to because I've literally had this problem. I bought, I believe, the exact same RAM. Actually, it might not have been Corsair Vengeance, it was the Corsair RGB modules. I didn't buy them because they're RGB, I bought them because they were on sale. I don't really care about RGB. I would turn XMP on when plugging them into my motherboard, and I would get random crashes and blue screens. And for ages, I could not figure out what the problem was. The first step to do is download a piece of software called Memtest 86. This is a piece of software that you have to install to a USB drive and boot from that USB drive. And what this will do, it will run checks on your RAM to make sure that nothing is wrong with the RAM, so you can rule out that it's anything hardware related. This is what I did with my RAM. Nothing came up, so then I knew it wasn't a problem with the RAM, it was something to do with the configuration. I'll leave a link to this below so you can find this website and download it yourself. Look on YouTube on a tutorial of how to get this working. It's very simple, but just double check before you do it. The next thing I then did in my build is I turned on XMP, and instead of running it at 3600, I turned it down to 3200. I didn't really care because, as I said, I got the RAM sticks on sale, so if I was missing out a little bit of performance, it wasn't that big of a problem, and that seemed to fix my issues. So I was happy because it was fixed, but at the same time I was wondering what was going on. I've bought this RAM, I can't run it at the speed that was needed. I couldn't quite figure it out. Then I came across a random YouTube video of a tech repair store that was talking about a very similar problem, and it turns out that my motherboard, even though it supports the RAM, it doesn't support the modules that I've bought with XMP enabled. Now, the way that I figured this out was finding my motherboard page, which is this one here, going down to compatibility, and here it lists every model and RAM that is supported by your motherboard. When I typed in my RAM here, I believe it was something silly like 4 8GB sticks would work, one 16GB stick would work, 2 16GB sticks would work, 4 4GB sticks, blah blah blah. It turned out that my specific model with 2 8GB sticks, my motherboard did not support with XMP enabled. PC Part Picker didn't pick this up, so this is I know earlier in the video I was talking about how good PC Part Picker is. That's one thing where it has screwed me before. But this was the problem that I was having. My motherboard just flat out did not support my RAM at XMP, even though it supports a lot of other Corsair Vengeance RGB sticks. So what I'd do is I don't think you've put your motherboard here. No, you haven't put your motherboard here, but you have put the model number of the RAM, which is good. So you can search this up on the motherboard's website, confirm if your motherboard supports your RAM at XMP or DOCP. And then, as I said, what you can do is you can enable XMP and then bring the speeds down to 3000 instead of 3200 to see if it works. If it's still not working with XMP enabled, because that does technically apply a slight overclock to the CPU as well, you can just set the speeds manually at 3000 instead of 3200 and see how you get on. But hopefully that's the fix. I know literally I've been in your position. I could not figure this out. I'd get random blue screens. So give that a go and see how you get on. So that's the end of today's video. Thanks for watching. I've kind of tried to add a bit more troubleshooting steps in this. I know in my previous videos I was just discussing what could the problem be and just saying you can do your own research. I thought that if it's nice and easy, I will just show you myself where you can find these things. So hopefully that makes things a little bit easier when discussing and a little bit more interesting. But again, if anything that I've said in this video has fixed any of your problems, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section, letting me know. Leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more Reddit repairs and content like this. And yeah, have a good day. Laters.